Tonight we're looking at how to sell services in Zambia. And this is a very interesting topic because services are very key in our community today. And like you've already given, some of you already mentioned how you're in the service business and how this is already something that you're doing. But then also just bring it into context. This is a management insights program being hosted by Unzapreneurs. And I also want to bring in the aspect of you being able to know how to manage services because, service is more than just an action. It goes all the way to a mindset. And I'm a person that loves to forerun mindset shifts because I believe when a person's mind is shifted, that's when you can put the skill. Before you shift a person's mind, you cannot give them a skill and expect them to do well with it. So this a quick breakdown of how I'm going to go about this. I'm going to talk a lot into service initially. Then I'm going to give some key areas and key techniques. So I hope we're excited. Let me make some progress. So a bit about services. So what are services, if I may ask? What are services? I would ask if there's someone who'd like to give it a try. That's a question I have today. What are services really? Can one person give it a try? So that we teach together today. Any brave person?
Okay, if your service is anything that meets people's needs, something in that line, yes. So that something that people really need, and then you provide it to them. That's like a service that you've offered.
Great, thank you so much for that, Audrey. So a service is something that you provide to someone. Great, something that people need. Thank you for that. And just like you've said, Audrey, so to everyone, a service is pretty much that. It's you being able to meet someone's need. And it can be carried out through an action that you make on their behalf. And that's really what services are brought down to. But because we're talking about how to sell services in Zambia, I thought I could just share a few examples of some of the services that are done in Zambia. The first, there are commercial services. There are a number of these. Talk about IT, and IT itself has got a lot from security, networking in IT. Those are some commercial services that are out there. Media and marketing. We've seen a lot of media companies come up, especially even social media companies of late. Talk of the Mwebantu. We talk of news diggers when it comes to papers as well. There's a lot that we are seeing coming out there, Watchdog and whatnot. Media and marketing goes all the way to other companies. I have a friend that runs a social media company where they're into social media advertisement. So that's another service that people are being open to in the Zambian space. There's also professional services, and there are quite a number of these. Some of them, there's Reed Consultancy in Zambia. There's PricewaterhouseCoopers that we've all heard about. There's Prudential offering services such as that. And there's different services that fall into the professional space in Zambia as well. Talk of recruitment and training services. We have a lot of HR services in Zambia. It's a hot thing. When I was working for Vodafone, one of the companies that we are co-opted to come on board was Raj Mahindra company. What they do is they offer a service where they can change your entire contact center. So they provide you stuff that are not as costly, stuff that are don't have degrees and whatnot, so that you don't have to pay a certain threshold. So that's their strategy model, and it's a service that some companies will have been open to rebrand their contact centers because it would cost them less. Logistic management goes all the way into things like procurement. That's very important. Storage and warehousing. There are people making a fortune out of delivering logistic management services. We also talk of things like business and asset management. You've heard of commercial property management. For example, holding groups. Also, holding groups hold certain companies for people or for other people. So there's holding as well. That's where you'd find such a service. So those are some of the services that are there. So including in professional services, some of you are asking, that's where you also find educational services. So there's a whole lot of service options for you, and probably you're already doing this as a person. To move on today, because we have quite a lot to deal with, what will we look at tonight? So tonight, these are our focuses. I want to quickly talk about the why of the service. It's very important for you to understand why of a service, and from two perspectives. why we should offer services, and why people actually want services. I don't know how many of us would like to actually find out why people offer services. And I'm going to get into that. And you can get a yes in the comment section. Just say yes, I want to know why. The second thing is the how and who of a service. These are very key. And I'm going to talk about this so you understand it from a perspective of management for your service. If you understand how to deliver your service correctly, and I'm going to share with you some very key strategies used here in Zambia and used around the world. These are proven strategies. These are strategies that have been written about. These are strategies that work. I have been implementing them, and I see a great amount of results. I'm not talking theory here. I'm talking practical means. And some of you who have followed me, known me, are going to see that these are stuff that I do. The service space in Zambia, I'm going to talk a bit into that so you understand how it is out there. If you haven't yet gone out to sell to people, I'm going to give you an insight into some of the experiences and the kind of culture around the service space in Zambia. Quick dive into some techniques for selling in Zambia. Just going to throw a few out there because I think we might run out of time by the time we get to the end. But I'm going to do my best to ensure that I give you some techniques that will work for you. Awesome. So I hope we're excited. Let me get people in the chat box saying yes, let's do this. Let's start learning, because I want to get into the next big things, the why of a service. So I'm looking at the chat box. Yes, let's do this. Thank you, Emmanuel. Yes. Okay, so we're about to get it. Yes, from Miss Chicholongola. Okay, I have to pronounce that better. Thank you so much. Let me get Chess's yes from Audrey. Great. So let's do this. So why should we provide a service? It's a great question we must ask ourselves. If you're looking to get into the service business, whether as your own firm, whether you work for a company and you offer services, it's very important for you to first and foremost understand why you should actually offer and provide a service. And I'm going to give you two reasons. Number one, belief. And this is very powerful and very important. Our why for delivering a service must have a lot to do with what we believe in. And let me tell you why. If you believe in something, it's easy for you to sell it. I'm an author of 6 books. For me to sell a book, I need to believe my book changes life, because it starts from inside you. So you need to believe in what you're selling. Some of you have tried selling some products. Maybe you've joined some network marketing project and you found it hard for you to sell. I'll ask you a question. Did you believe in the product you are tasked to sell? Because believing is a very key thing when it comes to you selling your service correctly. You need to be able to believe in it. That's one of the things. So if you believe in your service, like Audrey shared to us to say, she's already in the service space. If you believe in your service, it then becomes easier for you to sell that service. And that's where it must start from. You see, it's not this thing that you just go out and start doing. There's need for you to really believe that it's something that it will work, it will truly improve the life out there. Another thing is the need. You see, our services must meet a real need out there. The main reason why you may want to get into services, and you may correct me if I'm wrong, but probably you want to make a profit, right? If that's you, then you can testify in the box. If you want to make a profit, most reasons, that's one of the reasons why we get into service business. So we've got a couple of skills that we feel we can offer, whether it's data entry, it's project management, whether it goes to customer services. So whatever kind of service, I've talked of a number, it could be IT service that you want to offer, developer services for programming. You need to ask yourself this question: does it meet a real need out there? And not just a need. Does it need need that can pay you? Is it a payable need? It's very important for you to ask yourself that. Otherwise, you're going to get frustrated trying to sell and not getting any profit after some time. So these are two things I believe you should know for why you should provide a service. So you first must believe in it. If you can't believe in it, you can't sell it. Whatever it is, always ask yourself, do I believe in this product? I've tried out network marketing programs before. I'm like a lot of us here. Some of them didn't work for me. Actually, for me, most didn't work for me because I didn't believe in them. Initially, I was just in the hype of, oh, let me go for this. Some profit here, some quick money. And guess what? You're into the business and all of a sudden you're not doing too fine. But the person who got you on board, sold you in, they're making money and whatnot. But it comes down to you understanding, is this something I believe in? Is this something that's really needed out there? Let's move on so that we go to the next, and then the next why. Because like I said, why is at two levels. There's your why, and then there's the why for the customer. So why do clients buy? And by the way, normally as a service person, we refer to our customers in this space as clients more than we do as customers. So why do clients buy? Number one reason, and I want to bring this out, the price. The price is very key in service business. And let me explain this. You see, our price, the price we put on a product in terms of a service, right? It conveys the quality of the service. How many of you have been to Mag and Bean? If you've been to Mag and Bean, they're going to charge you for their ribs over 150. Some are even 170. Some are even 200. There's quite the price range. If you go to the next, if you go by East Park, just right next to them, when you walk a bit, you're going to find Hungry Lion somewhere there at the other entrance. But these can be the same things. You can be buying chicken here and chicken here at the same time, but the price is different. And now let me explain a bit to give these two examples. So you see, what Mag and Bean sells mostly is a service. Mag and Bean mostly sells a service, and it excels the service in how you're going to go there and buy that particular food. But I don't want to get into something about the brand right now. But let me talk about their pricing. If you buy their ribs, I promise you, you are going to enjoy them. If someone tells you to say, how were the ribs? You're going to say it was really nice. Because if you're spending more than you normally spend, already your mind has communicated to you that this should be very tasty. It's very few times, unless they've really done a bad job, that you're going to say the food wasn't nice. The price normally conveys this. I'm an author and I talk with a lot of authors. So I was telling a certain author and he actually followed my advice. I told him, you see, you've been writing for a long time. You write very great material, but your price has not been changing. So the subconscious communication that you are communicating to your clients is that my quality, my value has remained the same. And I told him, you hike the price a bit, because what you're going to do is you're going to communicate to these people that the value in this book is worth your time, because the price will determine the quality perceived. This is why certain businesses only have got a certain income bracket coming to them. If you've got low priced services, you're going to have mostly the lower income earners be your customers, which is a good thing if that's your business model. And right about lower income earners, talking about income brackets. We've got those who are high income earners that earn over $100,000 or so in a year. But there's also middle class earners, and there's lower income earners, all the way to students as well, who might not have as much money to buy things. So your price may determine that. So if you're looking to really service the B2B market, like I've communicated a lot on this platform, you need to consider your pricing strategy very importantly. Businesses will not buy from you if your prices are low, by the way. If you're trying to sell to larger corporates, your pricing may communicate to them that this is not for us, because larger corporates have got big budgets for projects. I've managed to sell to some big companies before. I've managed to even do a training with Zicta, and it's because we need to be careful how we price our services. They will just look at that and say, okay, that's too cheap. And it's funny, right? Too cheap, we won't buy. It's not for us. They're going to either go to another place and buy elsewhere, because your price conveys the quality. So be careful to not be too expensive, to not be too cheap, such that you miss out your extra profit you could gain from the quality in your product. It's very important. Another client I was talking to has a certain product that is very high quality. And in a conversation I was having with them yesterday, in the education of business, I advised them to say, look, your product, the reason why you're struggling right now is that you're competing with people who have got a cheaper product within the space. They don't put in as much to actually develop those systems. And that's why they're doing better than you, because they can afford to charge 10 kwacha per person for a certain grade. But you, on the other hand, have got a high quality website with high quality products. And if you charge at that particular price, you'll be in losses. So your product is set for another income bracket, and you shouldn't be targeting the general populace. So after conversations, we designed for them a go-to plan on how they are going to access their ideal customer, which I've also spoken a lot on this particular platform. There's an ideal customer that you plan for. If I want to sell to Aaron, I say I'm going to find out what's Aaron's income bracket, and I'm going to find out what Aaron likes and everything. And I'm going to make sure that I study Aaron to the point that when I offer him, it's going to be hard for Aaron to not buy from me. Why? Because now there's an 80 to 90% chance that Aaron is going to buy from me because I've focused on him. I know his likes, I know his colors, I know everything he likes, and I've set the price right. So the price conveys the quality of the service. And for you to know the quality that you want to communicate to your potential client, you need to really understand your ideal customer. A strategy I taught a friend of mine some years back, and I teach a few people who come and we are consulting when it comes to prices. We've always used this at all the idea capital development conferences, and I've got sales. I call it the 3 pricing model. We almost always have 3 prices for whatever we sell. And this is why. If you put 3 prices for a service, for example, bronze, gold, and silver, could be other names you could use. You could use junior, senior, VIP, whichever way. You're going to find many people who do not have so much money, but want the value that the ticket has, that service has. They will try by all means to at least get the middle price, the silver, because everyone wants to get something that has good quality. And that's when you mention to say bronze comes with this, silver comes with this, gold comes with this. Always be sure that when you have a difference in pricing models, you are able to clearly tell the customer, the client, the benefits they get for each particular model. But then something very interesting happened. We ended up selling more gold tickets. Actually, we call them platinum, more platinum tickets than we did the bronze tickets. So we had a lot of people falling within the middle side and a whole lot going into the platinum, and fewer people are actually buying the bronze, the cheapest model. Why? Because many people who could at least afford the platinum made sure they got the best value from the conference. And that's something that we found consistent. People actually go for the higher price value thing if you've got a 3 pricing model. You either get the higher price if it's within the income bracket, or they will get the middle pricing thing. And also another psychology that goes around that is this, that many people will go for the middle price or the higher price because they assume in that particular moment that when I go for this, I am classifying myself as a person of that quality, and we always want quality. So I've given you some techniques about your pricing. Do a 3 pricing model. Make sure you identify your ideal customer. Stop trying to target every person. Know your ideal client. It's very important. For each service you offer, have an ideal client. The rest are bonus. Then the brand. Another reason why people buy is because of the brand. People want to feel good about themselves. Let me go back to that mug and bean example. One of the reasons why that particular day, maybe you're going out on a date, you're doing something, you may want to go to a place like Mug and Bean, you may want to go to Radisson Blue. It's because of how people want to feel. If you go to a place like Tiffany's Canyon, for those of you who went there at some point, it's because you want to be able to have a piece of that feel, that you are belonging to a certain class of people that can afford something. That's why people buy certain services. If you get an opportunity to be able to buy a T-shirt, okay, that's maybe owned by Liverpool. So I'm not trying to start a football war here. Many people want to have a piece of that victory, and that's why people buy. The reason why we buy from a brand like Tradekins, we buy from a brand, we want to feel part of their winning. That is why when a celebrity starts a brand, Kanye West is one of the most richest artists, Black African American artist in the United States. He's got over $1 billion. And guess what's made him most of his money? It's his shoe brand. These same shoes that we put on to go for training, those particular trainers have actually made him a fortune. Why is that? People want to have a piece of something that's popular. That's why, as a person who's selling business, you must focus on building your brand, because people want to associate themselves with the brand. When we did the Vodafone launch in Zambia, it did so well because everyone had heard of Vodafone one way or another, and everyone wanted to be on Vodafone so they could feel a part of something big. They wanted to have a piece of that glory, a piece of that newness, a piece of that awesome internet experience. So your brand really is important. So focus on building a big and beautiful brand. Another thing is the packaging. The packaging is very key and very important. You should never discard the value of packaging. So what we see with our eyes affects how people buy services. If you came to me and told me that if I told you that I have a headache, okay, and then you decided to offer me some medicine and say, Mapalo, take this medicine, it looks very funny, I probably won't take it because you're not a doctor, okay? But if a doctor tells me take this medicine, even though if I don't know how to pronounce the name, even it's glycofenaciso, whatever it can be, I most likely will still drink it. How many of us have drunk medicine that we didn't even know the names to? You know, at the point you drink Flagyl, this is this, and you're like, wow, what's this? But you should take it. Why? Because of the person that's offering it to you. So your packaging matters. Magan being to sell at that price, they make sure that they package their service very well. They make sure that the atmosphere is great. Even the music is intentional. You must always have a way you package your product. If you're in the consultancy service like myself, your personal branding is very important to package yourself very well. Packaging can also go on how you've packaged your service. Have you put it well together? I'm going to talk a bit about packaging in the other segment. The fourth thing is the person selling the service is very key as to why people buy services. If you make the people, do you make the people feel like the service is transactional or transformational? If I'm trying to buy from someone and they are talking to me, but they're not looking straight into my eyes, they're not giving me this one-to-one experience, this VIP experience, I most likely won't want to buy from them. We need to be very careful when it comes to selling with people, because people sometimes will decide to buy a service or leave it altogether if we do not make the person like us. So the person selling the service is very important. Are you a likable person? Are you going to sell this service? And are you going to make sure that as you sell it, you give this person the attention? That you don't just feel like it's a transaction. You should make them know that this will transform them. A transaction is where you just give them some, you offer them this service to pay you, and that's done. That's normally how products are sold. A service is different. The whole experience matters. From the way you're greeted, from the way you talk to the person, people can literally feel respect. When I'm talking to clients, I give them respect, and I have to make them feel like they're the best in the world. It's very important to make people feel very, very good. Because every person at the bottom, in the depths of them, people like themselves. So if you go to them, you're just talking and talking, and you're making it sound like you're the best thing in the world, probably they won't like you that much. Always be able to talk to the person and say, yo, this is that. Let me move on again. So how and who should we provide a service? Okay, so how and who. So the how and the who are very important when it comes to services. And let me share a bit about this. I'm going to share two things in this particular segment. Applying the 6 principles of persuasion by Robert, and let me pronounce this well, Cialdini, on how to influence people is very important. I've applied these 6 principles. I'm going to share with you because they work. And secondly, applying service in a box strategies. I've talked about people buying because of packaging. I'm going to talk about how you can now package your product as well. So 2 things here on how you should provide a service. So some of these things, maybe you're doing them or maybe you're not. If you've got your notebook, take notes, find a way to capture what I'm about to start sharing. Applying the 6 principles of persuasion. And this is important because when you have to sell a service, it's really a lot about persuading someone to actually buy from you, because the service market at times is flooded. Many people have got skills. So how then do you persuade someone? How then do you influence someone to choose you as their provider of service? So let's get started. So the 6 principles of persuasion. Okay. So the 6 principles of persuasion. And I'm just going to note that in case we get logged out, feel free to log this back in. Okay, thank you so much, Maimbo. I see your comment. So we normally have a paid service, but then I just noticed late that it kind of expired. So we'll get to do that for the next session. So now the 6 principles of persuasion. Number 1, scarcity. You want to make sure that your product, your service has got a scarcity appeal. Okay, your service must have a scarcity appeal. And let me talk a bit into this. People will buy from you if you are not too common. If your service is not available every single place, you must find a way of creating a scarcity buy. This is what I do sometimes when I'm selling to customers. I'm going to tell them to say, this is available only for this amount of time. And because the truth is that, again, I also don't want to make it accessible too much at that particular point in time. So a scarcity buy is very important. I talked a lot about why people buy things. It's really because of what? Perceived value. If something is perceived to be of high value, people buy from it. And those of you who attended the sessions I've talked about in this, I told you that the perception of value can be changed. You can change someone's perception through psychology, which talks of human behavior, technology, or economy. But here, when we talk about scarcity, it's all about you knowing the right keywords to use. Sometimes you can say tickets are only available to the first 300 people. That's a scarcity buy. We are only open up to 12. It means people are going to come before 12. So you create a scarcity by the words you say when you're selling a service. If you're doing an event and your event has got this unlimited buying space, you're not going to get a lot of sales unless at the very end when it's actually the event is about to happen. So for you to be able to sell, make sure that you've got a lot of scarcity options. That's what we love to do. We create scarcity by being able to use keywords. So always think about it. If you're going to be selling, can someone give me an example of a service that they are selling? Let me show you how you do this. Anyone who wants me to use their service, if you don't mind, then I can speak through this session using.
I don't mind. I do graphic designing, so I design logos and some things. Yeah.
Okay, so you do graphics design, so you do logos, right?
Yes.
Awesome. If you want to create a scarcity about your logo business so that people are going to be able to now buy from you, you need to make sure that when you are selling, first of all, I'll tell you about your pricing. You're supposed to create a scarcity buy such that you say, I'm charging 500 kwachas, for example, for a logo. And with our logo, we do not offer this particular services to every single person. We only offer people that are in this particular field of business that are targeting high income earners. So you're creating a scarcity field such that the person buying from you wants also to be associated with high income earners. So for example, I'll say that we only target people that want to sell on a public space, that want to go global, that want to scale higher. We target top brands for our logos. We normally don't target people that are looking to just sell within smaller spaces. So someone who wants a piece of that glory, a piece of that feel, the Zicta feel, the Manda Hill feel, big brand names. If you position yourself to say, we do logos for the next big brand, okay, and that's our target market, that then will enable you to create that scarcity. Sometimes what you can also do is you can say, I'm doing a promo discount that's going to end on Friday, and it's only going to last for 4 days. So people will buy a whole lot within those 4 days because you've created a scarcity and you've told them it's only going at 300 for 4 days. So that's scarcity. People know it's not going to be around for too long. So oftentimes you must always find a way to change your prices. You must always find a way to communicate to people to say this is not on for long. If you're launching a product, one of the things we do is we say this product is accessible at this price only for the first few months. Or sometimes you say it's only available now. We are soon going to close this. So for you can say, I'm running a promotion. I'm doing logo designs. And this promotion, my logos are going at a 50% discount. So 50% can be up to you pretty much, right? And then you say, we don't know how long we're going to run this promo. It may come to an end anytime. Because people want to ensure that they get in on the scarcity buy, they will come for your services. Even though other people are selling logos during that period of time, everyone will be more inclined to buy from you because what you're offering is only there for a short space of time. Let me make some progress. I hope that helps. So use words to create scarcity. Only a few, 300 people, for a few days. We don't know when this will end. Do that all the time. Only a few people can get this. So always use scarcity buying as a technique. Another thing is reciprocity. Okay, so what reciprocity is if I do something for you, you naturally as a person, you want to do something for me in return. That's what reciprocity is about. So if I do you a favor, I don't know if any of you have ever seen this. If people do you a favor, they do stuff for you, within yourself, you're going to start looking for ways to do something good for them as well. One of the most powerful strategies for consultants, for people in business, is for you at times, someone says cakes, for you at times to just offer a free service, just a bite. So you may be trying to sell to corporates. This is what I do with corporates. Right now, I'm in a conversation for a potential big deal that may make life to come into some serious millions, what we're talking about. But what I've done with those particular clients is that I have been helping them with no charge. And what that does is this: it creates within them a desire to want to do something good for me. And that's what you do if you're just entering the service business for the first time. Sometimes you don't have enough leverage to sell your services upfront. No one knows you yet. So what you do is you go to a place like, think of any client. You're talking about cakes, right? Sometimes what you can do, if you want to start selling cakes to corporates, go to them at lunch and say, and go offer them free slices. Just do one cake, free slices at this office space. If they test your cake that day, tell them to say, I'll be coming back for orders, and you guys can be buying from me. So maybe you target, say, workers that work at F&B or something like that. So you offer them that because you want to be selling to professionals and whatnot. Or you do like I've seen some people do what they call a cake testing, event. You go and make sure that your cake testing is not just anyone. You should always be sharp, right? Always target the people you actually want to be your customer. Remember, I talk about an ideal customer. So if you want people in different companies, professionals to be that, ensure that you position your cake testing that will invite them. And make sure that you're ready to do the next thing I've talked about in some of the sessions, which are call to actions. Make sure you have your business cards ready. As they test your cakes for free, give it to them. Because they would have eaten something for free, reciprocity is going to demand that. Reciprocity is going to demand that they come and buy from you again. They'll just want to do it to you as a favor. I like what Aaron says. He says eka jonko for them. Yes, indeed. Give people eka jonko, especially when you're new in the business. Do a lot of reciprocity buys. It's a very key strategy. Time won't allow me to dwell on that for long, but I hope I'm communicating volumes. Another thing is consistency. What consistency means is that you must be pretty much defined. Do the same thing over and over again. If you're doing cakes today, don't start doing popcorns tomorrow. Then the other day you are doing my fries. Then the other day you're doing shawarma. It's going to be very hard for them to say, what service does this person provide? So you have to be very careful to ensure that you have a consistency. Those of you that know me, I've been talking about business for a long time. I've authored 6 books in business for the most part. I have been running business conferences. Now this is my 3rd year. I do everything. I talk business, speak business, walk business. My Facebook page is a timeline that shows business. By the way, Tony Alumilo wrote to me to be a mentor for their program. Many people apply to be in the Tony Alumilo program. Tony Alumilo wrote to me to mentor the people in Zambia. And that's not the only people. There's different. So what is that? I've been consistent, and the world is noticing that. So be consistent in what you do. They'll start writing to you. I was being offered right now to do a course on this platform. It's a great platform. They want me to do courses for them so they can monetize that. Why? I'm consistent. I speak the same language. Even when I speak a bit differently, it's true, it's within the same field of business and management. Things you always find me talking about: business management ideas. So be consistent. Start something that you're really passionate about and stick to it. At least if you love jumping from one place to another, please let me just dare you. Try to stay in it for 3 years. See how much traction you will get. People will be calling you to find out. I get calls to say, do you do this? Do you do that? And I'm like, yes, we do that at Make Life. So stay consistent. I hope I'm speaking. Liking. You must be likable. Okay? Service business, people, like I mentioned, why people buy because of who you are. So you must, by all means, find a way to be likable. Even though you're an introvert, find a way to be likable. And there are ways. I think maybe I should do a session on how to be likable. If those of you would like me to do a session with you on that, please just put in the box yes. Remember last time we did a demand-based training. So if one of you would like one of these days, Okay, I can see one yes. If you'd like me to tell you about how to be likable when it comes to service, you can let me know that. Okay, I'll check the yeses sometime. But you need to be likable as a person. Thank you for those of us to bring in yeses. Great. You need to find a way to be likable. Remember, I told you that people normally buy a service because of who is selling. And that is why that rule came up to say the customer is always right. So if your firm is selling, customer service should be very key. I always tell my friends to say, for me in Make Life, one of the things that I can just not condone is bad customer service. I think if there's a reason to fire anyone, it's because of bad customer service. Because at the end of the day, your customers are your bosses when you're in the service business. So you want to make sure you are likable by them. So it's a very key thing. Number 4, authority. What is authority? Authority can be likened greatly to what is another word called credibility. Credibility is where people can be able to say that what you are offering is in line with what you have studied, in line with what you stand for, and there's accreditations that can prove your story. When I first got into the management consultancy business, there's a lot that I still didn't have put together. So I journeyed to build my authority in that space. And these are different techniques you can use. If you want to be seen as an authority, say, someone, Chishimba talked about cakes. So if you want people to start viewing you as an authority in cakes, Chishimba, you can sometimes start a cake vlog or a cake blog. A vlog is, you know, why you use videos to talk about cakes and whatnot. So start telling people, do you know how many types of cakes are there? There's chocolate, there's vanilla, there's sunshine, there's shiny. Can I tell you a unique thing about Black Forest? Black Forest actually originated from such and such. At the end of that vlog, you tell them, make sure you come to Cake Gardens and get our cakes. People start saying, oh, this girl is always talking about cakes. She must know our cakes. Then you say, do you know the best types of wedding cakes? So start creating content around what you do. Become an authority. When people think about you, they must think about cakes. They must think about that. Graphics design. Start putting out things on the blog, on vlogging. Talk about that. Another thing you can do to get authority is get accreditations. I'm a trainer for the International Labour Organization today. I'm certified to train in 4 of their programs. And that's one of the things that's IYB, GYB, SYB. There's a lot that we do there. On top of that, I've got accreditations from LinkedIn Learning. I've got accreditations from different spaces. I've got diplomas I've studied as well within management and training. And I'm consistently pursuing learning. And this is why. It's because as a consultant, some people need credibility. Remember, I talked about perspective. So I talked about psychology, but also talked about rational and numerical behavior. What that is this. Rational and numerical behavior means that some people will buy because they know you are a doctor. They'll buy because they know that you've been certified by the university. For me, a consultant, if British Council is supposed to hire me, what they do actually, they pay you based on your paper. Diploma holders only get between a certain threshold. Degree holders, a certain threshold. Masters, a certain threshold. Those are their organizational rules. Even organization, if you're going to be a corporate providing professional services, they have got certain rules around the consultants that they get. And they can't pay beyond a certain threshold if you don't have certain qualifications. So that's why, in as much as I'm a business person, I'm a serious advocate for education. It will go a long way in creating that authority feel. If you're enjoying this, allow me to go to the last one. When it comes to the 6 principles you must work. Consensus. Now, what is consensus? Consensus, this is people love to do what other people are doing. The best term for this is we are a herd type of people. You see how cattle move together, how animals, lions move in prides, how bees move in swarms. Likewise, people love to move in crowds. People love to move towards the next big thing. People love to move towards what's happening. So if you want to sell, some of the words you can use when you're selling is to say this. We have trained over 1,000 students. We have offered our services. So for once for cakes, you can say our cakes have been ordered at different types of events and they are on demand. Always create consensus. People want to know if other people are buying from you. So who's buying from you? So if you can tell them these guys are buying from me, a person who knows those people who are buying from you will be drawn to it. So consensus is very important. So in your keywords, put that. Make sure you mention of all the people you've actually trained, all the people you've actually offered services for, because people love consensus buying. It's very, very important. People want to buy what people are already buying. Very few people have got the courage to become first movers. Most people who are always second, third, and then they come with the entire bandwagon. So make sure that you use consensus in your service selling strategy. Talk about how people are buying from you. I hope that's clear for everyone doing a service. So your cakes, share your stories. Consensus buying is a hot thing. Let me move to the next part if we're loving this. I think we've only got 9 minutes. Service in a box strategies. Let me move into this. So what are service in a box strategies? I talked about why people buy and I talk about packaging. Now it's very important for you to understand this because this is the next big thing I'm about to share to you tonight. And this is something not everyone is doing, but this is a killer move. If you're in this group, if you're in this meeting tonight, clap for yourself wherever you are, clap yourself on the back and say, you're a good person for being in this group. Just tell yourself that, like I'm telling you, I'm about to share to you your unique value proposition. What's going to set you apart from everyone in the market? So give yourself a pat and say, yes, give it me, give this thing, I want to learn this. So if you've given yourself a pat on the back, I'm about to share to you something that's going to make you different in the market. And this is it. What's going to make you a different person? It's great to see people are giving affirmations in the group. What's going to make you different and your service different when you go out there is how you package your service. And get this, not just packaging your service, but package your service in such a way that it's easy for people to buy. Notice the word I've said, easy for people to buy. And the best way to make it easy for people to buy is for you to package your service into a product. You productize it. That's the word to use. And let me share a few things about this. You are always at a bottleneck if your services always revolve around your availability. If you want to be different and you want to surpass your competitors, find a way to turn your services into products and sell them as packages. Because if you always have to be available to do your service, what you have is a job and not a business. The only difference is that you've employed yourself. So find your way to package your service into a product. Let me share 4 things that will help you today. Number 1, package service into a product. And let me explain how this works. It means that if I have a service, and MakeLife is about to do this, we're about to launch a product, and you're going to see this. I've shared it with some of you. With Aaron, I think I've shared that with him. The product is known Startup in a Box, and they're full of those products. And what we have in Startup in a Box is we've got templates for you. We've got different things for you as a startup that will get you right on started. You have everything you need from a business proposal to a pitch, everything well packaged and placed for you. It's online and it runs. How many of you would like that? Picture of it when you just get that product, everything you can dream about, budgets, receipts, invoices as a startup are there, business proposals, business plans, marketing strategies, and we have packaged it for you. You get it with the videos that we've put for that. You can go and you will survive as a startup. And guess what? We've got 3 of these types of products. That's just one, Startup in a Box. We have found a way to package our services to the public. And I'm giving this to you to learn and understand. Number 2, package services by levels. Sometimes what you do is you package your service by levels. I talked about bronze, silver, and gold, platinum. Those are different ways of packaging your services. It's very important because what you do when you package it is easier for people to be able to understand it. Sometimes the reason why it's hard for people to be able to buy our product is because they don't know at what level they should buy. So maybe you're in the financial service business. How does a startup come to you? How does a large entrepreneur come to you? It depends on the levels and how you've packaged it. So package it and say, this is for startups. This particular cakes are cakes that we do for. Maybe let me give it an example. Let me give you a proper example. We've got maybe corporate cakes. Okay, be the first to actually launch corporate cakes as a thing. Or you can say we've got what's this word? Honorary cakes, like cakes that you can give as gifts to people who come to speak and whatnot. So make sure that how you package them, they look so nice that they should be For me, an event organizer, I must be able to come to you, Chishimba, and say, Chishimba, I have 7 speakers coming to my event, and I want to honor them. I want them to feel special. And you have packaged to say you've got cake specifically targeted towards giving honor to speakers. Trust me, you're going to catch a wave of customers coming to you whenever there's an event. Package it in service levels. Make sure it's always like that. For you who's doing graphics, the one who gave me the graphics example, this is how you can package it based on levels. For me, I've got at times, sometimes I do a bit of graphics here and there with MakeLife. What we do is this. We've got logos that we are going to be able to do for you. But if we only charge you cheaper because you're a startup, you do not have money, we're only going to give you customer service for 2 days. Means you only have 2 days to ask for readjustments, a few tweaks to the logo, because customers always have got preferences. At times they start with knowing what they want and what not. But then we also sometimes have, there's a certain customer I was talking to yesterday, a client. They want a certain name done for them and a certain graphics for their company. So we've given them a certain price range and told them you get 2 weeks of customer service with us. We've packaged it based on levels. And because of that, we've got a different pricing model for it. Thank you, Chishimba, who says this is eye-opening. Great to know that. Number 3, package services together to make a new one. At times, what you must do is just make sure you're already offering a lot, so package services and make it new. Okay, a whole new service. So whatever you're doing, for example, the one who's doing graphics, instead of you just doing logos, you'll be able to package it in such a way that it's a full buffet. Say maybe you do, say for example, you do a branding, okay? So you say, and not just putting that out there saying branding. Say for example, we do branding for businesses in the agripreneur space. When you do that, and you can call it to say the agri brand, or say you call that package, that particular service to say brand agri or something like that. That clearly says what you're doing. And then you go to people who are agricultural people doing their businesses using gardens and whatnot, and tell them that I am going to. For us, what we do is when you come to us, we do your brand, we help you with the name for the agriculture sector. We help you with your logo that suits it. So you told them about the colors, the palettes that are there to say, we use key colors for agriculture. It's not any type of color you should use for your logo if you're getting into the agribusiness. So you package it so intently, so precise that they know it's for them. Tell them on top of that, we do for you banners, a billboard and whatnot. And guess what, Maimbo? You don't have to be the one to do that. You may not have the machinery for the banners. Sometimes what we've done as MakeLife, we've partnered with those people on the back end, and I shared this in some of the back sessions we've had, where you outsource. So, and I call that drop servicing. And you get all that and package it to them to say, get your agri brand package. Boom, you've created a new product. Yes, you're doing logos, yes, you're doing this and that, but you package them together and you make your money. The last one on packaging, package the service process. Sometimes what you do is you package the service process. And what do I mean by the process? Sometimes what you do is you can sell your service as a process. This is why you talk about franchising. If your brand starts doing so fine, you may package the process that other people can come and they can begin to work through your process. Very soon, you're going to see MakeLife announcing our Associate Management Consultancy Program. What that is a program that allows us to be able to train certain management consultants to be able to train our courses and our programs to our clients. So we package the process. The way we train, what we do, we package that, and we're going to have people that will be doing that with us. So sometimes you package the process. I hope you've all benefited. Time won't allow me to finish everything. So a few things about the service space in Zambia. Number one is network oriented. If you want to get into the service space, most of the time they ask you, who do you know? And that's the thing, you struggle a bit when you're starting the services in Zambia. Some of you are saying, okay, but follow-up. Sometimes I struggle because when I go to these people, they only buy from people they know. And that's true about the service in the space in Zambia. And this is how, the strategies I've shared with you is how I've actually penetrated some of the market. Using things like reciprocity, doing things for free. Sometimes also connecting to networks. Using authority as a way to buy into people's spaces. Because in Zambia, people that will normally always buy from the same consultant, the same service provider each and every time. So for you to have a shot at it, make sure you've got strategies that they just cannot refuse. Mostly mandatory service-based. In Zambia at the moment, most people will do services that are mandatory. For example, auditing. People do audits because it's very necessary. Some people will get tax consultants. I have a friend of mine, and we work together, who does a lot of tax consultants. He's always doing stuff for people in Germany and different spaces because it's a must. So if you are thinking of getting into the service business within Zambia, think of things that are mandatory. What trainings are mandatory? What's mandatory? What can a company not live without? Okay, find that out and you'll be doing fine. Because of time, seasonal service space. At times, your services can be built around a season. So always find out what's trendy and make sure you're among the first people to be able to catch on to the wind. Don't start getting into masks at the time when COVID has become a bit more zoned out as a topic, trendy thing. Be among the people to get involved and quickly do that. At times, that could be your business strategy. Anything, I always believe there's someone who can actually start an entire business that only sells in June. Every year you only sell in winter and you have a brand for it. Winter BMMs, winter what not what. And it's just a single business and become so strong on the brand that every winter people are looking for your brand because you sell water heaters, water, these body warmers and what not. And you create your brand. And let me pick a person's name here. You know, Hanks, let's see, how can I put it? Hank's winter warm clothes, Hank's winter this. Always think of a seasonal topic around your service. At times you can actually have a big buy. As well, some services work well in terms of Black Fridays and whatnot. Time won't allow me to finish too much. So I'm not going to get into this, some techniques to sell in Zambia. I love to respect people's time. Unzapreneurs offered you up to 2030. It's 2 minutes past. So we're going to have to end here. I hope you have learned a lot. I'm going to open up maybe just for some questions. Techniques I've already shared. Actually, don't feel bad. I've shared some of them with you. Do free consultations. I also want to share with you a few things that I've been doing. I've told you a lot about how I build my networks, you know, and get to. I've talked to you about how we work on an e-commerce space. Giving you all these strategies already. Trying just to get more technical into Zambia, but I'm going to have to end here. I hope that's fine with people. Yes, so Emmanuel says thank you. Is there any people with a question? I don't know how much time you can allow me more, and if everyone will be okay with that, Mondoka, just kindly give me a feedback so that we can take maybe a few questions. How many of us would like to take a question so that I help you specifically? I mean, I'm doing this for you tonight. I have committed every Saturday I'm training. That's why I'm happy when you guys come. You know, I could have been doing a whole lot of things. I could have been resting. I do a lot of things every week, but I said I want to make an impact. I want to be able to help people. So if this is your shot to get to ask a question, so if you have a question, feel free to ask. I'm opening up the stage. You can just unmute yourself now. I thought Mondoka was about to say something.
I think we can do 10 more minutes, I think, for questions and interaction. 10 more minutes. I don't know if it's okay with everyone.
Okay, so if everyone is okay with you, we value your opinion. Just put in the chat box, yes. We can take 10 minutes to do questions, then we can conclude. If not, we can conclude even just now. So this is 2034. Can we be done by 2042? Let me get some yeses if that's okay with people. I've got a yes. It's okay from Maimbo. Thank you. You can get at least up to 5 people doing that. I see a question. How can you turn offering an agriculture business selling eggs into a product? Thank you so much for that, Audrey. I'll get that. Let me just get a few more yeses. I didn't really understand what was meant by packaging a service into a product. Okay, I'll talk a bit into that as well. Thank you. Okay, so from the science, looks like we get some questions in. So let me start answering with, let me start with Gertrude, then I get to Audrey's question. She says, I didn't really understand what was meant by packaging a service into a product. Okay, so let me explain that to you. I'll use our product, which I can share. Let's see, can I share it with you? Let's see, is it possible for me to do that right now? Maybe stop. It's going to take me time to find the folder. So we as MAPALO, we offer startups management help, all the way from helping you do your business plan, your business proposal, your pitch deck. We help you with your ideal customer persona and whatnot. So now, instead of us helping you on a one-to-one basis, we've done that all for you by giving you videos in the product, which I call Start Your Business, which I call Start Your Business in a Box, or say Startup in a Box. So you've got videos that help you through every process. You've got templates that you can just do input, and then you just buy that. So we sell it as a product, and you can use it on your own. So definitely, what I'm trying to communicate about turning your service into a product is find a way to sell your product, your service, without you being there. For someone who does cakes, what you do, if your cakes are so nice, it's very easy to go to Zambian Bureau of Standards and package your recipes, okay? And the amount of value you put, the flour you put, the sugar you put, and whatnot, you don't have to tell it out there, but you just, according to Zambian Bureau of Standards, you have to say what you put in there. So instead of you always have to bake the cakes, you can start selling your mixtures, okay? The dry mixtures on their own, and then you just specify. I think I've seen cake mix. I think that some of those guys have done that. So that could be your extra income space. Remember, I talk about authority. Do a lot of things within your space. I hope that's clear. So it's pretty much how you can sell your services without you having to be there. So it's either, if you do a lot, you can pre-record yourself, you can do webinar sessions, and then, for example, this session with Unzapreneurs, I can literally just put this on a platform and I can sell it to any person that actually wants to learn how to sell their business. And that's me selling the service as a product without me actually having been there. I hope that helps. If Gertrude, you've understood, just give me a feedback so that I quickly go to Audrey. Okay, great. Thank you. Gertrude says yes. You're welcome. How can you turn offline and agriculture business selling eggs into a product? And so it's a bit more in line with what Gertrude has asked. Okay, so if I was in your position and I've got eggs and I want to selling eggs into a product, so you're selling the eggs. The best way you can then do it is for you to sell it as a product. The mindset you should have is making more passive sales than active sales. What that then means is this. It means that you can have eggs that you have with you, but then you now give an opportunity to people who don't have anything to sell to come and start selling your eggs. And as they're selling your eggs, it's like, this is how I put it. They will wait to them to sell. You don't even have to need another as a product. Initially, already eggs are a product, but then as a service. Okay, sorry, I got kicked out. I think a few got kicked out as well. But let me just try to take this home and conclude, since we've been here for quite some time. And just to conclude on Audrey's question. Hello? Okay, great. Just to conclude on Audrey, I think another way you would selling an eggs as a product in terms of a service is when you think about the things I've talked about, talking about how you can package the process, you can package it in levels. So what you can then do is also create a customer loyalty program around your eggs. So people who buy eggs from you, say for example, you can say if you buy eggs for me 5 times in a row, the 4th time you get 5 extra eggs. Okay, so you're packaging it as a product. So that way people are now going to want to buy your eggs more because you created a customer loyalty program around it. Or buy eggs from me, and when you buy eggs from me, you also get other things that people want to get eggs with. For example, maybe if people are buying eggs, or what other reasons do people buy eggs? Yeah, people buy eggs because they just want to cook them or whatnot. So sometimes you can actually sell eggs alongside rows, and say buy our eggs with some rows and package it. Maybe say buy our eggs with this maybe rows and another thing on the side. So make yours more interesting. Don't just sell the eggs as eggs alone. It's a flooded market. So find out other things that people do use eggs for and sell it as a package. Sometimes you may add it as an add-on. Sometimes it may just come together and just sell one price for them and say our eggs are good for this particular direction and that particular direction. I hope that gives you some insight. We can chat more, but let me not take everyone's time. If we've been helped, okay, thanks, great. You're welcome, Audrey. If we've been helped, it was great having you today. This has been a great session, and